just want to start out with just sharing a little bit of my relationship with the Hughes, and then a little bit of the history of the vision for a new sign. And I wrote down some notes on a 3x5 card. I apologize. Helen and Tom's daughter, Becky, goes to church where my folks go to church, at University Methodist. So I first heard that when Helen and Tom were moving to Holt, that they would be visiting our church. I knew ahead of time from my folks that we'd be having some mutual friends here. From that time on, got to know them, and I think first adult Sunday school, which they were faithful attenders, probably more than I was there at adult Sunday school, but I think that was our first time meeting. And then later on, as Tom got involved with our Saturday morning men's group, we got to be friends, and he enjoyed going to breakfast with us and sharing in our Saturday morning Bible study. We also, both my father and Okie Manning and some other men enjoyed taking Tom golfing. That's one of Tom's passions. If you knew golf, or knew Tom, you knew he loved to golf. Matter of fact, just a year before he passed away, he was on a foursome with my father and myself for a fundraiser for the mission trip in a golf outing. So one of the last real neat memories I have of Tom is eating multiple hot dogs on our golf outing there and enjoying the food there. So we had some good memories there. And then in Tom's last days, my memories are of visiting him in the adult care home that he was living at, and taking Helen to visit Tom there in the last days of his life. So that's a little bit of the background of my getting to know the Hughes family, and still enjoying our Saturday or Sunday morning trips to church as I pick up Helen about once a month and bring her to church along with other people that are doing that. I didn't know at the time that we shared kind of a common interest in an interest with church signs. Matter of fact, I recently learned that there's another church sign that the Hughes family helped get put in at another church. But a little background with the church sign. Let's see here. I became interested in replacing our church sign several years ago, probably close to 10, when our original wooden sign was becoming rotted, and also during a time when our church was doing a lot of trying out of different service times and different Sunday school times. We went through a period where we were really trying to find that right combination of 2 services, 1 services. We tried Saturday night services, we tried Sunday evening services, and we had no good way of communicating what we were doing to the neighborhood, because our sign was just painted worship and Sunday school times that we might have repainted, once a year if we were changing something for the year. But the combination of not being able to let this neighborhood know what's going on, and the fact that the old sign was rotting and decaying got me interested in looking into new signs. Like anything, the first thing you look into it, you go through this terrible sticker shock of how expensive signs are. It can't be that expensive. And it just wasn't in the budget, so the dream was just put off and put on hold. About a year ago, after Tom, what month did Tom pass away in 2007? In May. Sometime after that, I was approached by Deanna saying that someone else had approached her with similar vision for a new sign and wanted to make a financial contribution towards that. So the effort and the dream of a new sign I was asked to be involved in. I had a lot of background information, and so for over a year, Deanna and I and Ed and working with Helen and many different sign contractors, and also learning about changes that had happened with Delhi's zoning that made the sign project have to start all over again at one point because the height of the sign had lowered the maximum. And lots of sign vendors that we would go down the path for a while, and then they would just kind of stop communicating with us. So it was a long but worthwhile process. And what you see here today is the culmination of many emails, many minutes, many visits with different sign vendors. The real advantage is I think it does blend in good with our church. In between times, we did have a temporary sign that did give us changeable letters, and that was installed. You probably remember the sign, the colorful one that had our logo. And the neat thing about that is we finally, for the first time, could put some messages and some information up to the neighborhood.
I'd like to take a moment just to acknowledge some of the gifts and contributions that have been made in putting this all together, because we did this ourselves largely on the actual installation. A lot of the lion's share of the donations came in memorial to Tom Hughes, and there were others of you who are here today who gave contributions, and there was enough money that came in to pay for all that you see in front of you. Amen. There were a lot of people who worked a lot of hours to put this together. Tom and Deanna and I served as a task group to work with Douglas Sign Company, and it took a lot of time. They were constantly going down and meet with them, choosing colors, doing different things. It's amazing how much effort it took on the part of these two to see this come about. Then we had to design a mound so that we could get this sign up off the ground, because it would have been about this tall. An attractive and usable sign. We think that through this, that we will be able to display messages and things that will be helpful to communicate to our neighborhood. And we think that's very important. So, as we dedicate this sign today, we are also going to ask God to use the messages to really make an impact for His kingdom's sake. Shield and more shall be, as long as life endures. Now, with a little enthusiasm, we've been there. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. Thank you. This concludes our time of dedication. God bless you.